They're updating the entire underground minigame from 4th gen? Just for us? No way. No way, there's gotta be some kind of ulterior motive. Duh, it's so we can find Shinx's new Megastone! Oh yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Alright, what is going on, y'all? Soul here, and welcome back to my story mode. You guys know the drill. I've got a couple of things to say, and you may not want to hear that. Timestamps? Right down below for you. Hit them. So far, I think it's safe to say that we've talked about most other things regarding these remakes at this point. We have guessed, thought about, and speculated about these games for the last 3 to 4 months, and I think we've done a pretty bang-up job. At this point, when they do inevitably show us a little bit of gameplay of new content for the game, we're all gonna be screaming, yes, we totally knew that, we frickin' called it. Now at this point, the only real thing to speculate on is when the hell the next Pokemon Presents is gonna be. Come on, guys, you guys have games coming out in the next couple of months. Y'all gotta let us in on something now. We've got release dates, we've got a game upcoming this Wednesday, and y'all don't have a single thing to tell us about the mainline games coming up in a few months? I'm sorry, but I just simply don't believe that. What are y'all hiding up there? I'm so curious. But whatever the case may be, just because they're not giving us anything doesn't mean that we're not gonna keep chugging along, so we're gonna do just that. On the off chance that you're new here, you should know that I open up polls all the time so that we could talk about your guys' ideas and thoughts on certain topics when it comes to Pokemon. I'm positive that by the time this video goes up, we'll probably have another poll up very soon, so make sure that you give your ideas, opinions, replies, and comments and everything like that to me on that poll so we can get your ideas out there. I want to see what you guys have to say because it's very important to me. Who knows, my next video may have your comment featured right at the very center. I've been having a lot of fun doing those reply videos, so I want to make sure to do more of them. So anyhow, that just about does it for all of the unrelated stuff. Why don't we start getting into the main topic of the video? I wanted to talk to you guys about the underground minigame in the upcoming remakes. Weirdly enough, this is one of the very few things that I haven't really seen anybody talk about. And I guess I can't really blame anybody. Even over here, we've been obsessed with the generic stuff. Is Mega Evolution coming back? Are we gonna get new big events that are gonna make this game worth it? We were so wrapped up in that other bigger stuff that we didn't even really consider one of the biggest things that they actually showed us in the trailer. The fact that the underground minigame is coming back in full. Anyone that's played 4th gen, Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum at the very least, know damn well that the underground minigame was super crucial when it came to those games. A lot of us spent almost as much time in the underground as we did in the overworld. We were mining just as much as we were catching Pokemon. It was like an oddly perfect balance. I'm not exactly sure what exactly went right, but you know what? I'm not complaining because I am one of the exact culprits that spent hours in the underground, just mining away, doing my thing. So seeing that it's coming back in these 3D graphics has me kind of ecstatic. I'm really looking forward to it. However, it was only recently that I considered that the underground might be getting some big changes in of itself. I'll say it like this, there's not a lot about the underground that needs to change, but there's a couple of things that definitely could change. Whether or not those things will be necessary or even good is definitely debatable, which is why we're here to talk about it right now. Essentially, I want to talk about what we're working with currently and what we know about the underground. Then I want to talk about things that should definitely stay from the original games and things that could be touched up upon going into these remakes. Okay, so currently, what exactly are we working with when it comes to the underground? Well, for starters, like I said, back in the day, we spent quite some time down there. Tired of pressing B and making your Pokemon cease evolving every single time it levels up? Hey, just head on over to the underground, get an Everstone, and you'll never have to worry about pressing B yourself ever again. What's that? Oh, you found Homeboy that teaches your Pokemon good moves through heart scales, but you don't have any. Well, head on over to the underground, you can find as many as you want. What's that? Oh, you want to evolve your Roselia into a Roserade, but that Leaf Stone that you found isn't working. Trust me, I know that it's weird, but what you're actually looking for is a shiny stone. Well, guess what? You can find as many evolution stones as you want right down in the underground. The underground minigame had a very interesting and good way of weaving itself into our gameplay. Now, like I said earlier, we spent a hell of a time down there just trying to get the things that we needed for our Pokemon teams. However, it's not exactly as cut and dry as I put it. The time that we spent down there was completely in the hands of RNG. So the entire time that we're down there, it's not exactly what you would imagine. It's not like we spent like 20 to 30 minutes looking around, we found a shiny stone and we went right back on up. No, the world is much more cruel than that. Sorry to burst your bubble. No, we would be down there for the better part of an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours if your luck is as atrocious as mine. Finally find the mine that's hiding the thing that we're looking for, find the actual thing about 2 hits away from it breaking down, and then the mine would bust, and then we'd have to spend at least another half hour to an hour looking for that very thing again, and only using the pickaxe to get to it, because you don't want to break it. But then again, maybe this is just me. Maybe my luck with RNG is just really that bad. And I have some very bad luck when it comes to RNG. I have noticed this is not a game. You can ask anybody that's watched me play a gacha. I have the worst luck. Watch, I'll show you guys when we're doing our playthrough and we play in the underground for a little bit. I'll show you. Trust me, it's bad, dude. Anyway, moving along because I could cry about this for hours. Next up, we have the fact that there were now online capabilities, so we were able to set up things such as secret bases and traps. I'm pretty sure that this is a returning mechanic from 3rd gen, but made in its own unique image. However, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I didn't really participate in that one all that much. When I was younger, I played mostly by myself, so when I finally did get older and understand the mechanic, it was pretty much too late at that point. So to my understanding though, you could decorate your base, and when you would have one, you'd automatically put up a flag that other players could steal and take back to their base and get points for, and vice versa. You could definitely steal other players' flags. I think that was the entire fun of it, and honestly, I wish I did get the chance to participate. Sounds like hell on earth. Gotta say, there was really no harm to that addition. I really do appreciate that, even if I didn't get to participate in it much. I can only imagine how much fun everybody had trapping each other in pits and stealing each other's flags. Honestly, very fitting for us. So now we've taken a look at what the general basis is of the underground that we had in 4th gen. So now let's look at it in the aspect of the remakes. What should stay, and what should change up a little bit? Since this part of the list is significantly shorter, why don't we just talk about the things that should definitely stay? For one, having access to go to the underground at any point in time as long as you're outside. It was always good to know that if I felt like I needed to go get something, I could right then and there just go down and start searching for it right away. I'm glad that I wasn't forced to wait until I got to a specific city with a certain area that I could mine in. That would have been incredibly frustrating. Granted, that specific place, quote unquote, would most likely be Orberg City in Orberg Mines, but again, I'm glad that we didn't have to go all the way back there every single time that we wanted to go to the underground. That would have been very easy for them to do, and I very much appreciate the fact that they didn't. So naturally, the availability of that mechanic is definitely something that I'd want to keep around. Next up, for the most part, I think that the rewards that we can get from going underground are totally fine to keep around. I mean, I guess I wouldn't be too mad if you guys decided to, I don't know, tweak around, maybe add some Mega Stones to find underground, maybe ease up on the RNG a little bit, but you know, you don't have to, just a suggestion. But for the most part, the prizes that we can earn from digging is totally fine. And when I say this, I do actually include the common shard pieces that you can find around. Yes, they can be a tad aggravating because it is never what we're on the hunt for, but they can be useful for something and you can find them pretty commonly. So, it's definitely something that's better than nothing. I'd rather mine up that than just completely mine up dirt and get absolutely nothing and waste my time. I think I'd be a lot more pissed if that were the case. And finally, the biggest thing that should probably definitely make its return are the bases and traps. In all honesty, of all the mechanics that are available from the original, I can't imagine changing anything from that. It's just all around good, stupid online fun that we could all use during a time like this. Honestly, nothing wrong with bringing that back in its entirety. Like I said, this little list here, it was very small, very simple. Most of the things about the underground worked perfectly fine. Now, why don't we start talking about some of the changes that could come to this minigame? Just some general touch-ups that will make the game a little bit better going into these remakes. First up, we have to start talking about the controls because they are gonna be completely different from what we know. For example, general mining. That was something that was completely reliant on touchscreen. And don't get me wrong, I know that we have touchscreen on the Switch and it's good, it works well, but I'm not gonna keep pulling my Switch out of the dock every time I wanna go get a stone or something from the underground. No, that's not what's gonna happen. The controls need to be mapped to the buttons now, and there's definitely a couple of ways that they could go about this. Here's one of the ways I see it. We move around the screen with the left stick, right? If we want to mine something with the pickaxe or the hammer, we would simply press the A button. If we want to switch between the two, we would just press one of the shoulder buttons, whether that be L or R, doesn't really matter. Hell, if you want to make it even more simple than that, we have the pickaxe mapped to the A button and the hammer mapped to the B button. That way, when we're mining, we could just swap between the two on the fly. It'll make things go by a lot faster. Does that make any sense? I certainly hope so, because that's one of the big things I could definitely see already in the works right now. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they did make touchscreen mandatory again and you can only go into the underground when you have the when you have the game undocked. Oh no, that would be horrible. Well, either way, we're just gonna have to see how things play out. The next thing that I'm actually kind of concerned about control-wise is the sensor mechanic. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I'm referring to that mechanic where when you were in the underground, you could tap the touch screen and things would flash, telling you that you're allowed to mine in that area. This right here is the exact same situation as the previous one. Can't do touchscreen stuff when the Switch is docked. So therefore, this also needs to be mapped to a button. Now this could easily be mapped to a couple of different buttons. For one, it could easily be mapped to the Y button because when we're underground, the Y button has no use. In the overworld, the Y button would usually be mapped to a specific item, whether it be our bike, our fishing rod, or whatever. Obviously though, we can't use those items underground, so it would only make sense to make use of that button while we're under there and use that for our sensor. The next buttons it could easily be mapped to are the trigger buttons. Now, in all honesty, there's no real specific reason for this one, I just think it would be kind of neat, but in reality, it's a little more out of the way than the Y button. But hey, whatever, if it happens, it happens. Now for my final suggestion as to where this button could go, I think this last one may be a little more optimal than that of even the Y button. Now hear me out for a sec. What if we could just click the right thumbstick? I personally think it would be a lot more optimal because 90% of the time, our thumb is in that general region anyway. I know we usually don't have camera control in Pokemon, and that's definitely not going to be a thing in the remakes, but god damn it, we usually keep our thumbs over there anyway, just in case. Anyway, I just think that that would be kind of unique and very interesting considering that most games don't really use that button for anything. Or at the very least, I can't think of a ton of games that actually utilize it properly, but hey, I could be wrong, tell me if I am. But anyhow, that's my idea on that, unless they just decide to get rid of the sensor altogether, in which case, that would scare the hell out of me. Moving along, why don't we start talking about the map situation for a second? Obviously, we do not have dual screens anymore, meaning that map needs to go somewhere. Well, what if I told you I have two ways to fix this situation? For one, we could have a transparent map that sits right there on the screen. Where it goes specifically could definitely be debated, whether it be top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. You should be able to change it, frankly. I don't think that would be too much of an issue. Now, debatably, you could set it up like it worked in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, where the map was always transparent and right in your face, and you were moving along with the map as you went. Cause frankly, that was definitely a working method. I can tell you right now that 90% of my playthrough of any of the Mystery Dungeon games, that map was up in my face. The beauty of having it here is that it's literally harmless to do so. There's no danger in the underground, so... Well, actually, I take that back. I forgot about traps and stuff like that, but it doesn't really matter because it's not like you can see it. So either way, it kind of works out that way if you want to set it up like that too. Okay, so there's some ideas as to where the map can go. Okay, what about those that don't want the map in their face all the time? Maybe they want a clear screen when they're running around. Okay then, how about this? We can also map the map to a specific button. What? What I mean is, the map wouldn't show up until you press a specific button and hold it so that you can see where you are. And then as soon as you let go of said button, the map disappears. Bada boom, bada bing, baby, I'm out here doing it for them. Come on, Game Freak, come on! So personally, I think I've single-handedly solved the map issue. No need for applause. Okay, alright, let me stop patting myself on the back for something so dumb. Why don't we go ahead and move on? Now, me personally, I thought that originally one of the dumbest mechanics in the original games was when you would dig something up, you would put it in your bag underground, and then you'd manually have to go inside the bag yourself and then click all the items so that you could send them up to your bag in the overworld. I'll say it as simply as this: there is literally no need for that middleman at all. If you obtain items that can only be used in the overworld, send those items to your bag in the overworld automatically. There's no reason to be hoarding them in the underground. That is pointless. I can't even tell you how many times I've gone to the underground, got a bunch of heart scales and good items that I could use in the overworld, went back up, and then realized I had to go back down so I could send the items back up with me. It's kind of ridiculous. It's literally that simple. If there's items that you can use in the underground, keep those items in the underground. If there's items that can only be used in the overworld, send those items to the overworld with your regular bag. There's really not much more to say here. There's not a lot to argue. Now, while we're on the topic of fixing quality of life situations, how about this one? Now, this might just be my inner child very angry and upset for past endeavors and things like that when it came to mining, but hear me out. When you're mining and you find something very cool at the very last second right before that mine busts, if it busts on that item, I think we should get a second chance to get at that item. Trust me, I know, it sounds kinda ridiculous, but hear me out. When the game is complete RNG and you can spend hours down there finding absolutely nothing, there is nothing more heartbreaking than finding an entire ass fossil and then losing it because you didn't find it early enough when you were mining in that mine. And then you spend God knows how long searching for your next item because you lost your chance at that first one. And it's just so heartbreaking, it's awful. So me personally, as a former kid, I was thinking a lot about it, and I was like, maybe if they mess up really bad and the mine crumbles on top of their evolution stone or their fossil or heart scale or whatever, maybe a prompt comes up that says, hey, wanna try again? Maybe just something that allows them to get one more attempt. Hey, maybe that one's a tidbit of a reach and maybe it makes things a little too easy. But again, it would definitely take away so much unnecessary frustration. And again, this isn't about me, this is for the young ones, alright? Just making that clear. And then one of the final things that I would kind of like to have added to this whole underground situation is I feel like there should be kind of events that happen in the underground. Let me give you an example. You're walking around and suddenly you get a call on your Pokédex. Somebody's like, hey, there's something going on near Canalave City, underground. Maybe you want to head over there and you might find something good. So you go to Canalave City, you go underground, and maybe you find a spot that's a little bit shinier than usual. You mine in that spot, it's a lot bigger, but there's a lot of items that you could find in that big mine. Hell, it could turn into a full-blown minigame, and you have about 50 to 60 seconds before the entire thing crumbles, and you gotta mine your ass off to get everything that's under there. Maybe if you do well, you could come out with a couple of fossils, maybe some evolution stones, maybe some mega stones if we want to get crazy. I don't know. However, that is something that would definitely keep us coming back to the underground, and if we need to find something good, that would probably be the best way to do it. Maybe you can make those call events kind of rare, but it would be kind of nice to get alerts like that so that we could go over there and find something decent. And it adds a little more excitement to the game as opposed to just go underground, mine for a couple hours, maybe find something, maybe find nothing and come back up. No, maybe with these little events, you're guaranteed to get at least something good, and it makes the underground a little more worth it than it was before. But hey, that's just my take on it. I feel like it could add a lot to that game. So that just about does it for all of my thoughts regarding the underground minigame in Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I thought this video up a couple of weeks ago because I figured that it was kind of weird that we didn't talk about one of the biggest things that's actually returning to the game, and since we're going to be spending a lot of time down there, I thought it would be fair to get out all of my thoughts, hopes, and wishes out about it now so that when it does come out, maybe some of these things are already changed for the better. Knowing the Pokemon Company, they're expecting the underground to be able to hold us over for quite some time until we get some more in-game events, and possibly until we even get Pokemon Legends. Cause I'm telling you right now, as soon as we finish the main story mode, if we don't have a battle frontier or any other kind of after game situation, the underground is where we're going to be spending most of our time absolutely just harassing each other. Now, I think that it's going to be a phenomenal time. However, these are just some of the thoughts that I had that could possibly make it an even better time. But hey, maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe my thought process is stupid and you can do it better. I want to hear all your guys' thoughts when it comes to the underground. Do you think that I'm absolutely foolish, nothing needs to change? Or do you actually like some of my ideas and want to add on to them a little bit more? Let me know everything that you're thinking in the comment section below, because you already know I'm always down there with you guys. Don't even doubt that. However though, I think it's about time we go ahead and wrap it up. I want to thank you guys ever so much for watching. I truly do hope you enjoyed. Do me the greatest favor of dropping a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more content just like this. And with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get up on out of here. Thanks again, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Do me the greatest favor of taking good ass care, and I'll see you all next time.